Namaste and welcome to the 77th episode of TeaTalk. This is your Sathi Silu. Today I have such an amazing guest that he doesn't need any introduction. His name is Ronald E. Pisota, and those who have attended University of Nebraska, Bellevue, Omaha, he's like father. He's Nepali in heart, but American, who has impacted many lives, who has inspired many, who has helped many, like numberless Nepalese student as an international student coordinator. But now it's been so many years, and I'm so excited to meet to him. Let's welcome the person, Ranba, who needs no introduction. Hi, Ron. First of all, welcome to this Tea Talk, and thank you so very much for being here with me today.
All right, now it's being recorded.
Yes, sir.
Do I have to hit something here?
No,
Hit
no,
it?
no. No, it's fine. I'm recording from this side, so it's fine. You are fine.
Oh, all right. So
Yeah.
all I need to do is start talking.
Yes, sir. Yes. And again, I'm so sorry. I was in one of the literary program and I was running late. Texas traffic was crazy, but I'm yeah thankful to have you here today. How are you?
Doing okay. As it's, unfortunately getting older, but aren't we all? Yeah, I was just realizing that the Nepalis came to Bellevue a little over almost over 30 years ago.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we've got kids that graduated here that are have kids in college now. A couple of them have even graduated. So,
Wow.
uh-huh.
So many stories. You are like many Nepalese student. They know you as Ranba, the father,
Right.
with
Well,
respectfully.
they used to call me Kaka,
Kaka. Yeah. Yeah.
which until I asked them whether they meant the Nepali or the Spanish
Oh
sense
my
of
God.
the word.
Don't go there. I found that only later. So I only knew Nepali Kaka, but not Spanish. So yeah. But you are pure Nepali Kaka, father, Ba. So with so much
Yeah, that is one of the reasons I got started with Boca too, because
right.
you could, use the word guy in Pali means cow or something, cows,
Right. Right.
and then dude means milk or containers thereof, and so
Oh my
so
God.
I couldn't use either one of those. So one of the Rajendra, one of the Nawari Joshi said, well, it's not too bad, and we sometimes use it in Nepal and use Boka. So, so I
So
met most of them saying, "Oh, you're the new Boka in town." So,
wow, yes. So many those students who attended Bellevue, Nebraska, Omaha, your name is such a joy. They feel so happy just taking your name. And how is Bellevue? How is Omaha these days?
well, Omaha is doing pretty well. You realize now that the third language in Nebraska after English and Spanish is Nepali.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Now we've had a lot. We had quite a few Nepalis stay in the area, and
Okay.
and also we had a lot of move in because they got green cards and stuff like that, and they could afford an apartment here while they learned English, while they had a big problem doing that in New York or
Right.
DC or anything else where they had relatives. And so
Wow.
he ended up with a lot of them. And then now with, in about 10 years ago or so, we have probably now about 4,000 Bhutanese refugees, so
4,000.
we're
Wow.
overrun with Garuns and Rais and,
Yeah. Wow.
uh,
Yeah, it's been many, many years. I graduated in 2004.
uh-huh,
And on my graduation, the sari I was wearing, I'm wearing today in your honor.
all right,
18 years old.
okay, he's like, yeah, yeah, I went to, so many, graduations there.
Yeah.
Actually, I got so, all right, what time does it start? I know what time it's gonna probably end, so
Yeah. So
I
how
showed
many
up
years?
for the pictures afterwards.
Yeah. So how
Uh-huh.
many years you are retired now? How many years?
All right, well, the Nepalis first came in, well, actually, the first Nepali, Sarita Lahani,
Oh,
came in the, actually the 70s.
70s. Wow.
Yeah, so we ended up having uh, Sarita Lahani was, a younger sister to well, actually, he was foreign minister and, finance minister and all that sort of stuff, and, vice president of the Punjab at one time, and so
Right.
in '88, I even had, members of the Punjab show up here. So,
Wow. Okay. Okay. All the history. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and so, yeah, so, and then, Sue Rogers Gordon, was teaching there, and you know, she had been Peace Corps in Truck Island, and on her way home, she stopped in Kathmandu, and so she went directly to Peace Corps in DC and says, "If you give me or you give me Nepal, I'll re-up." And so she ended up teaching at Kanya
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
in Kathmandu, because
Right.
they had put her out with a couple Catholic priests way out in the hinterlands of Truck Island. So it was
Wow. Yeah.
one of those things, and lived in Dili Bazaar,
Okay.
that sort of stuff. So, but we've got four people, I guess, in about 90, it was 89 or 9, fall of 89 or 90.
Mhm.
And they, they apparently wrote to uh, her and saying, "Oh, we found out that Bellevue was very cheap." And actually, when I was in Singapore, I found out it was one of the cheapest private colleges at the time. So
Yeah.
when the Nepalis find someplace that's hopefully welcoming and cheap, it was a natural draw.
Yeah.
Just like Corsicana, Texas was for a while, and then there was the
It
other
is. Yeah. Yeah.
in North Carolina or something like that. So,
Right. Right. And when I first came to Nebraska, that was the first time I saw snow myself coming from Mount Everest country, right?
uh-huh.
Yeah. And many of the students shared that Nebraska was kind of cold with snow if it was not run by and his kindness, the love, they would be lost. So that was one of the consistent thing that I have been listening to many Nepalese out there. So
Yeah,
how
we've had a lot of people move, to warmer climes and stuff like that. I've got people I have to go see down in Texas. Well, Dallas and and Houston and San Antonio and
right,
other place there. So,
right, right.
and then also in Florida and North Carolina has got quite a few of them too. So,
Right. And when I came at the first year, at that time, I attended a party at your house when your house mortgage was paid off. The house was paid off. That party I attended in your home. I was happy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not a whole lot has changed. I still have the wedding tent from Bopanasalar and
Oh, okay.
all of that. I've got quite a bit of a little bit of other stuff, but and upstairs I did I've got a bookcase that I refer to as War and Peace Nepali style because
War and Peace Nepalist. I love that.
yeah, they what they did is, they either gave me Buddhas or kugari knives or
Oh my God.
and so I put them all together.
Oh my God. That just made my day. Buddha and Kukure. So War and Peace Nepalist. I love that. Love that run.
Yeah, yeah, I also, it was all, hey, if you can't enjoy, putting things together
Yeah.
and having a little fun with it, you might as well forget about it. So that's one of the things that I found that with the all well basically a lot of South India, or South South Asia
Yeah.
were all very open, very accommodating, and so
Yeah.
and ended up staying at people's houses all over the place and stuff like that all throughout
Yeah.
India and and Sri Lanka and Nepal and that sort of stuff. So
Right, right. So you have visited Nepal, right? How many times?
four,
Four. Okay. What was the last time?
2006 actually.
Oh, okay. When my little one was born, 2006. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, that was pretty, yeah, it had changed quite a bit from, well, of course, my thing was always that, with the way as you were talking about with, how communications have changed so much, you know, when I first got there, Nepal or Bellevue didn't even have computers.
Right. Oh my God. That is,
I ended up
I
bringing
can't
my own
imagine.
computer from home because you all you could do was write letters, because calling Nepal was, well, we found a
Okay.
card that was 6.95 a minute,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was, which we thought was a great price because it was 10 to 12 before that. Of course, my favorite thing was, I told them when I was in India, I never called home in Peace Corps for 2 years when I was worked in the Bangalore area.
Oh, you worked in, oh, Bangalore area. 2 years you worked, right? Oh, what
Yeah,
year?
well, see, I was in 68 to 71. I was in Peace Corps.
Mhm.
I was part of what they called the Green Revolution,
Right. Okay.
and and we were there as Gram Sevaks.
Oh, Gram Sevak. So yes. Okay. Yeah.
And and so I ended up in a village of about 1,600, and I was supposed to talk them into IR8 rice and all the hybrids and jola, which is millet or wheat
Oh, right.
and other stuff, and so we were working with that, and my favorite thing was one of the girls who was it, with a different program, but we trained together and kept track of each other pretty much just a few blocks away,
Okay.
she, or a few counties away, Tolucas. Uh, her mother was going to come to celebrate 1970 with her, and we were going up to Bombay and everything, Mumbai now.
Mumbai now, right, right. So was
And
Irene with you too, or you were by yourself?
yeah, I was just by myself,
Okay.
and we got, everybody got a village by themselves, but mine was on the border, and they had taught me Canada, but it was right with Andhra, and so I got there and found out, I'd go, oh yes, I know what is happening, and I can understand. And then they'd switch to Telugu, and I'd go, what happened?
Oh my God, Telugu, yeah.
Yeah, and so I did learn enough Telugu that I never did learn how to speak it very well, but they'd ask me something in Canada, and I'd answer in Telugu, and off we went.
See, you know more than I do, even though we are neighboring country, right? So how many languages, like how about Nepali? Like when did you have,
Well, yeah, I understand a lot of Nepali, but I went to great lengths trying not to learn it because I kept telling them, you've got enough people here that speak Nepali. You need to, improve your English and stuff like that, and because a lot of the first ones, had pretty, poor English skills and stuff like that.
right,
Only those that were from Xavier seemed to be okay.
behaviors? Okay, yeah, yeah. Wow. So,
And
yeah,
so, but
wow.
yeah, so it was, and the other thing is, as I said, we learned all these various crops. And then the day before, or 2 days before they dropped me off in my village, they says, "Oh, what do you know about, onions and brinjal?" Yeah,
So what do you know?
I ended up in a area that was known for the Bellari red onion, and that was very popular in South India, and
Okay.
and only grown in certain areas, and so I ended up, not having a house when I got there. I ended up in the school with all the with kids looking in from all sides of the windows, and not knowing when they were going to switch languages on me, and having to know what was going on in different languages. So
Yeah.
I learned to be a ham.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So did you learn the art of cooking and tasting different food, traveling to like South Indian countries? Because I do
Yes,
remember
well,
you.
actually, when I was in college, I ended up, saying, well, I helped out at, a fraternity, kitchen there, and so I did, did some cooking myself, and and my mother, when we were growing up, had three boys within 4 years, and didn't have my sister until 4 years after that, and her thing is, well, if I don't get the guys cooking, they'll all be gone by the time my daughter will be helping me. And
Oh,
so she ended up teaching us all. Well, her thing was, you better learn how to cook or you'll get married too early. So
okay.
I ended up doing a lot of teaching the guys how to,
Yeah.
uh,
Your
you know,
saag chicken
boil
and
water and make tea, and stuff like that. They
yeah,
didn't even know about that.
yeah. And even your I miss your achar, right? That cilantro pickle that you make achar, dhania ko achar. You made one bottle for me, and that was like, it's, do you remember?
Yeah, well, when I got back, I decided, that I wanted to, you know, and you got back here in Omaha, I only had four uh, Chinese restaurants, and
Okay.
that was it. if you wanted to go grocery shopping for Indian food or, even basmati rice, you had to go to Chicago or New York.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was one of those things of, all right, I've got to teach myself how to do that. And luckily the girls, got me a thing called The Taste of India by an American author that, didn't do everything in tolas and all this sort of, you know, their measurements, pinch of or, a handful of it, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was able to do that, and I ended up, getting a pretty good biryani recipe out of there and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah. And I tested your food myself, so it was, you have been that big inspiration, Ron. And now I'm a family studies major, right? I did my PhD in family studies. But
uh,
whenever I think of family in this, like home away from home, your name comes in the first place. And I do respect you on that regard, representing so many Nepalese students. They came to like Nebraska during 2000 or so, right? So they,
yeah, well, I still have one too here.
okay,
The
okay.
basement. He got, a green card and about 6 or 7 years ago. And so,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he came here at 17. He was, just graduated, completed the thing at Xavier
Oh, okay.
and almost got on a plane, got here, and so we've, just got him graduate. Well, we got him graduate a little bit earlier, but he's trying to get his parents in, for a visit at least. Unfortunately, his father has had some problems with cancer.
Right.
And so his mother happens to be a nurse, so they think they've got it under control. They had it under control before COVID, but then he wasn't able to get to, Kathmandu and do everything like that. And so,
Right.
yeah.
Of
And so, I was second father again.
course, of course. And Ron, you still have pretty good hair. I remember Susil cutting your hair. Do you remember Susil cutting your hair?
Jill, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, you still have pretty good hair.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was, yeah, we've, I, it's getting a little, close on the top, but luckily it's pretty heavy on the side. So I've got my Trump comb over and stuff like that. But outside that,
Yeah.
hmm
Um, and I remember during 1997, 98, my brother, I mean, Susil, he used your computer to send email to home, right? Long emails at the time, as phone was pretty expensive. Uh, and then like calling card, like Viber, nothing was there at the time, right? So sending long
uh,
emails to home, and that kind of made me nostalgic when you mentioned that there is no computer and you took your computer from home to the school to help people out there.
yeah, I had, yeah, I had and I had one of the few things of one of the few good printers. In fact, when I bought, they did have one printer. When I first got there, I had a Mac 2, one
Okay.
of the first Mac 2s that ever came out. And I'd print up letters there, and then I'd run over to the library and get them printed out on stationery and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and stuff. So it was interesting that way. Yeah,
Right. How old are you, Ron? If you don't mind.
I will next month. I'll be 77.
Wow. So July is your birthday? July.
Yeah, I'm a July boy.
Yeah. Happy birthday earlier.
Yeah, so it's Yeah, well, Annie Retka, who was one of the kids that went to the, uh, base camp in
Uh-huh.
Sagarmatha, had the same birthday as I did, and
Oh, okay.
stuff
Great.
like that. And I've got, you know, got a Guatemalan and, somebody, a couple of three people, and one of the Bhutanese kids here. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
we all hopefully, able to stop, do it once in a while.
Yeah. So how many years were you married?
Yeah. 34, I think. Yeah.
34.
12 yeah. So, yeah, it was, well, no, it was right at 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, uh, it was sort of, one of those things that, I got sick and my wife was worried about, if I got too sick, whether it's going to destroy her, take all the, all the stuff. And we were sort of drifting apart. Uh, you know, uh, she sort of attached herself to me because, she knew I'd probably do more crazy things than she'd be willing to do by herself.
Yeah.
But, after the second trip to India, and Nepal, and third or fourth trip to, yeah, she sort of, well, I'm tired of India, and tired of Nepal and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But
but yeah, so yeah, but it's been interesting. It kept the, and in a lot of ways, with the, Nepalese or the Bhutanese Nepalese here and stuff like that, it's been really kind of fun because, at least, with a lot of the, the first ones from Nepal, to get here had a lot of, work to do, but, we were getting enough of them that they could help the newer people all the time and that
right.
sort of stuff. And here I was getting high school kids that, basically their families didn't know anything on how to, what they needed to do and how, the American system worked and all that stuff. And so I started working with the high school kids here and ended up with, doing, uh, working on scholarships. The
Oh,
Buffett Foundation, when Susie Buffett died here, she gave a lot of money for college scholarships uh, to anybody who, was sort of the first one to go to graduate school and stuff like that.
right.
Ended up with, helping on about 33 different, Buffets, and a couple of people got Gates, and a couple, we had some, some Asian Pacific, and, even, uh, and then they have a couple other scholarships at UNO. And
Right.
suddenly started adding it up and realized I was approaching $2 million in scholarships, because the Buffets were worth about 50,000
Right.
for a
Right.
5 year period. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah. So,
What are some of the like memorable students, or what are some of the memorable experience with Nepalese student that you remember till this day?
well, it was always fun. Well, actually, I dug out the. I'll show you my first the first group. I don't know if you've seen this or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. see that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, these were the first people uh, taken by, no girls. That was took us a year or so to get Sujita, well, no, Nilu and Milan here, and then Sujita and Sarita yeah, and the others all they showed up a little bit later, and
So
stuff
in
like that.
70s, right? You are talking about 70s, right?
Yeah, but in the yeah these were the first students, so ended up Bookie from Japan, I mean Korea, excuse me, took the picture, and we had a couple people that were running to get a chair and didn't get in it, but that was about it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, and there was always something that seemed to be going on, and was I enjoyed having them put together, the international banquets and the show afterwards and all that sort of stuff. And, I guess one of my favorites was, when they decided they wanted to do sort of a group song and did Imagine with Annie Rutka
Yeah.
and sung, by, John Lennon and, they may have been from all over the world, but they all knew the song, which
Right.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
True.
and that sort of stuff. That was one of my favorites, and
Of course. Yeah.
but
You
there
were
was
born
always
in
something
Bellevue,
going on.
Ron? Were you born in Bellevue, Nebraska?
No, I was born on a farm in central Nebraska.
Central Nebraska. Okay.
Yeah, and I used to take people out there quite a bit. Unfortunately, my father died 23 years ago, so he died in 99 or something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And no, 27 years ago, so he died in 95.
Right.
Yeah, and so after that, it was a little harder, because mom was alone and stuff like that, and trying to get a whole bunch of people out there was, not too bad, but it was kind of interesting, one of the things that I was able to, do there is, a lot of them, being on a farm and all this other stuff, a lot of them ended up with pictures and stuff like that.
Right.
And I once when I was back in, I think it may have been 91, 99,
Mm.
when I was back in Nepal, I went over to Sanjay Shrestha's place.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And walked in and, was in the living room and I looked over and I said, what in the hell's my mother picture doing in the middle of Kathmandu?
Oh, okay. Your mother's picture was there in his home.
Yeah, they took a picture with her and it was framed sitting in the middle of Kathmandu.
Wow. What's the name of the guy again? Sorry, I forgot. What's the name?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it was, I go, oh, all right. It was, and she enjoyed having, people come by and, her big thing was, what won't they eat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Pretty
she
good
was always
memory.
worried about, making sure they ate and stuff like that. So,
Right. So,
but yeah, there were a lot of, at times, well, we took people up over to, uh, up on the Niobrara River, also canoeing and that sort of stuff. And
yeah.
it was basically you had a hard time believing it was just, you didn't see any fences or roads or anything like that, the bridges over it. So
Right, right.
pretty, untouched area, which was nice. And so,
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I remember some of those trips and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Nebraska always brings back memory of like cones, right? Cone
Uh,
facilities. And yeah, I've never seen that big land full of cones. And all those memories are with me being here in Texas. But what is
mhm.
one thing you remember so much of Nepal?
Yeah, 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 it was very interesting that way, and hitting, well, it was kind of interesting in the fact that, with a lot of them, basically, Nebraska is becoming, much more, half the population is in Omaha and Lincoln.
Right, Lincoln, yeah.
And, I used to take them to the 4 square mile where I lived outside of town. And, you know, there used to be about 8 families there, and now there's one,
One, just
and
one.
that's it, and that sort of stuff. And, and there, so, it's changing in complexion and stuff like that. We still have the family still has the old farm there, and but there's no buildings on it. Of course, it wasn't a real great building, but my mother and father got a building just before where they could get all the family together at one time, and so
Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah, from somebody else. So that was nice and stuff like that.
sure. And Ron, your name, like many students remember your name, remember who you are. But how many of the students they come back, they call or they visit? Would they? Do they? I'm talking about Nepalese student at this moment, or any international.
Well, the people that come back and all that sort of stuff. Well, yeah. Well, I have quite a few on track here and all that, and and it's fairly interesting in the fact that actually now I just got a thing from we've been communicating with Pajal Kunwar, who, well, he came out of central Illinois
Right.
to Bellevue and then switched over to UNO.
Yeah.
And he graduated there. He's back in Nepal now,
Oh,
and he's apparently setting up he's working with altruistic children,
oh, okay.
and they're looking at setting up a new center in Chitwan.
Chitwan. Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh-huh. So, I figure I'm going to try to do a little bit of help with fundraising because uh, Shahan Padan,
Uh-huh.
if you remember him, he is from Chitwan and he's in Rotary International.
Oh, okay.
And I have a couple friends here in Rotary International that were ex Peace Corps volunteers, and so I'm going to see if we can get something set up with the Rotary International to help fund some of that and go from there. So
Yeah.
yeah, and he just disappeared. He showed up from nowhere, and well, and Suresh from Sri Lanka, was just here about a month ago or something like that.
Right.
He's up in Calgary,
Oh, Calgary. Okay.
Yeah, and he used to stay upstairs. I still have the thing on there, Sri Lanka above his door. The door
Right.
is
Right. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and he showed up with his wife and kids and stuff like that. And Rajendra Joshi, he and his wife moved out about 3 years ago out to uh, California,
Okay.
San Luis Obispo and stuff like that. And he was back for social son graduation, and who is a God, he's almost twice as big as Sushil.
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Mm.
and he's going to he's playing football with Morningside College over in Iowa.
Oh, okay.
And he just graduated high school. And yeah, actually he was thinking about walking on at Nebraska as a football player. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and well, and everybody seems to be, here seems to be setting up restaurants. The Jaipur,
Yeah. Yeah.
has they opened up a second restaurant here in Dundee.
And oh, okay. Okay.
And so you know, they've got two of them, and then there's Momo places all over the place. In fact, the Momo people here have set one up in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Newish, and there were some of the newer ones that came. Actually came just a little before the thing. He was going to study engineering, and then he decided he was more interested in cooking, and so he set up a place called Saffron, and so we've got and with the Bhutanese refugee kids, we've got Bhutanese Nepali restaurant in
Okay.
North 90th Street. Two
Okay.
groceries where you can get momo and and uh, and all sorts of local stuff,
Right.
and and now even shops you can go to sorry shopping down in
Oh my God, I cannot imagine because just for the Indian spices, right? We have to go so far, and now there are like Momo places and all those shops.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty interesting.
yeah, and and then with the communication and stuff like that, my Indian friend Shaker moved back to Cochin, well, the Kerala area,
Mhm.
and he's in touch with the village that I worked with, and so he was back last year in
Okay.
August or so, and he brought me some Winnisonay chutney from the village that I haven't been able to find for a long,
Oh,
even
okay.
anything close. So,
Right, right.
and and some homemade turmeric and all that sort of stuff. So
Sweet. Yeah. So how like how do you spend your days these days? Like what are some things that you do? Do you enjoy Facebook as well, social media? What do you do?
well, I've been doing quite a bit with as I said, with the refugee kids and stuff like that, and as you know, I've had one, family here that mother was had surgery and stuff like that, and the father sort of had to take time off to, and the kid was, well, he's about a semester away from graduate, 2 semesters away from graduation, and he decided to go work, luckily First Data, which is not First Data anymore,
Right. Oh, yes, I do remember that. Right. Yeah.
yeah, is paying $18 an hour now.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's making pretty good money in there, and helping the family out. And so I've been helping him with trying to get things done. And and a lot of them that bought houses through they were able to get houses through the Habitat for Humanity thing,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
they build the houses and and help build and get them at a cheap rate. Actually, what's his name's uh, Bezos' wife just gave something like $11 million for Habitat there. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so they'll be able to hopefully get rid of some of the housing shortage we have now and stuff like
Right.
that,
Right.
because we're getting a lot of Afghans in too now, and and the Ukrainians.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so been doing a little bit with them and that sort of stuff. They have a new Ukrainian, I mean, a new Afghan restaurant out west. So,
Yeah. Ron, in this tea talk, I talk mostly about like career as well. So you have helped so many people. So I mean, like, who inspired you to like work in Peace Corps or like help in all these areas? Who was your inspiration if you look back?
well, it's also good for me. I enjoy it and that sort of stuff. And with the kids, high school kids especially, it's sort of unfortunately, my son, got married, but he's been in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
He just got out of it after 22 years,
Right.
and most of it was either up in Seattle or down in Florida. He was in the Tampa area for a while, but now he's settled into a place called Clearview.
Okay, clear.
So
Yeah.
I went and saw Sushma and Ashok the other day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're in, not too long ago. They're in um Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
So they're a little way, a couple hours away. So and they have a little. Their boy is the same age as my youngest, my grandson,
Okay.
who just graduated high school and turned he'll turn 19 in October or something like that. So
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
so things seem to be pretty good. Keeping pretty busy, and as I said, uh, with the kids here, I refer to them as sort of my loner grandkids because
Yeah.
because it's the kids have always been half a continent away. It seems like, and
Right. Right.
yeah, it's sort of hard to get there, and back and forth. I
Sure.
usually did it once or twice a year, but that's now it's getting a little bit harder.
Right.
But outside of that, well, actually, a couple of years ago, I just loaded up. We were down in Texas. What part of Texas are you in now?
Dallas. Yeah, it's just 30 minutes drive from Dallas.
You're what? 20.
Dallas. Yeah, 30 minutes from Dallas airport.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let's see. What you were down in? Were you in Memphis or something like that for a while?
Cecile was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
I remember going down there with Nyan and stuff like that.
Right, right. Yeah. Ron, is there any message to the batch of 2000 or any Nepalese student that you have? Any message to them, like whoever are listening to this tea talk and whoever could be reached through this platform, any message you want to share to them?
Well, not really. Just hey, give me a call sometime, and we'll figure out. I'm still trying to teach kids to swim. Unfortunately, we had a 14-year-old that was at a lake about 3 years ago.
Wow.
A little Y kid that you know the Nepalis all know a little bit about swimming, but they panic when they get over their head. It happened. Yeah, I've known that happening ever since the first two that lived with me were here.
Yeah.
That they they weren't well, and Kathmandu area, out of the Tri it's a little warmer, but Kathmandu you've got only the river right there, and that was pretty bad last time I was there. It
Yeah. Yeah.
smelled to high heaven down there, but yeah, but yeah, so yeah, it's hey, keep in touch, and and I do keep in touch with quite a few people, and
Okay.
a little bit of everywhere, and that sort of stuff. And so and
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
hope everything's going great for you, and that you people all had the ability to do anything you wanted. You just needed somebody to sort of say, "Yeah, you can do it," and
yeah.
give you a little bit of push that way, and a lot of people have done it real well and stuff like that. So
Right. Right. Yeah. Is
yeah,
there
I was.
Yeah, we are almost at the end of the talk. So, is there anything that you want to say that I forgot to ask?
Uh, Not really. It's as I said, I always growing up in central Nebraska, you know I didn't have electricity or any sort of stuff, water in the house until I was about 9 and stuff like that. So it was, uh, very much a way for me to get into, village life and stuff like that.
Right,
And I find that, and it's great now. I can, keep track of the village. I just got through emailing with somebody there, and I said with Kumar, Kunwar, he just ended up, talking to me about, trying to figure out how to get some money for starting that, altruism thing, and so you know, I enjoy hearing from people, and seeing how everything's going with everybody, and and I'm very happy. It's been one very interesting life.
thank you so very much, Ron. And again, as I said that I have always, I mean, even though we met for a like little time because I moved to UNO, from there I graduated, right? But the impact that you have like done for my brother, for so many other brothers, so many other Nepalese students, on behalf of them, I would like to say thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and so say hi to everybody for me, and go from
Yeah,
there. All right.
will do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I haven't been down to Dallas for a while, but the
Let me
last
know
time
when
I
you're
was there,
coming.
I think I traveled 300 miles within the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Right.
Just it, meeting with friends and stuff like that, because
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Give
a
me a
lot of
give me a
athletes
message. I mean,
there.
like,
There's,
yeah.
I've got Guatemalans there, and and one of the Peace Corps volunteers is just south of Fort Worth. So
Right. Yeah, I would love to see you if you make the visit to Dallas. Please give me a. We are connected in Facebook as well, right? So give me a
all
call.
right,
I would love to see you. Yes.
yeah. As I said, I went through there, and I've been threatening to go see uh, one of the kids from Guatemala. That's there.
Yeah.
He's still waiting for it. He tried to get get sacked, his stuff straightened out because he lived in the Tikal area, and unfortunately the shot cartel went and sort of they killed his father and were shooting at the house, so he took off.
That's
And
it.
it's been 5 years, 6 years since he got here. And so,
All
but
right.
he's got some relatives here, and so that helps.
Sure.
And he's doing okay. But
Yeah. But again, yeah, thank you for who you are and whatever you have done and inspired many lives over there. So thank you.
well, it's been one great ride, and I've enjoyed almost all of it. There are a few, but there are a few bumps in the road, but
Yeah,
overall,
it happens everywhere.
it's been a great time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so very much. All
Uh,
right. Have a good evening to you.
all right, same to you.
Thanks.